So this image is the one that takes the cake for me from Zack Snyder's upcoming Rebel Moon. I've been covering this, I think 3 or 4 times I've done videos on this upcoming film series that Netflix has put together for him. And it's we got our first look now here over at Vanity Fair yesterday. I don't know, it's first thing in the morning. I'm still all squinty-eyed and haven't had my coffee yet. But I really wanted to talk about this because I think this is going to be a really, really, really epic film series. It's a two-part, if I remember correctly. It might tell us in this article. There might be some more information. I just know it was really, really, really image heavy, and you look at that image, and it's just like, let's look at that cast. You got Charlie Hunnam, who I'm gonna watch anything with him in it in the first place, and I can never remember this French actress's name. I think she was a ballerina beforehand. She did some other stuff. And then right above me, we've got she's done a ton of stuff for the Wachowskis, Sense 8, and the Jupiter film and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. It's a great cast. This guy who was in Game of Thrones and also the Clone Show with I don't remember. I can't remember all these actors' names now. Anyway, um, let's scroll up and take a look at this because Vanity Fair has a first look at the upcoming Rebel Moon, and it just the photography alone. And this is one of the areas where I think Zack Snyder is leaps and bounds above a lot of other directors because not only is he a good director and he has an eye for just a lot of cool stuff, but he's also an amazing photographer. And that's something that not every director has an eye for photography, even if they are good directors for visual shots and scenery. But anyway, let's talk about what is Rebel Moon. I think there's some really cool stuff here. We get this exclusive first look here at Rebel Moon. The Netflix saga, as it says, was once Snyder's pitch for a Star Wars movie, but now it's in a universe all on its own, is what it says here. And like I said, I've talked about this a couple of times in the past. But this is his, he's doing some world building here. This time it says he's doing it with 300. This time the 300 Justice League filmmaker is creating not just one world, but a sprawling menagerie of planets full of cyborg warriors with molten metal swords, giant half-humanoid arachnids, and ancient robots that seem to have emerged more from medieval times than the future. That description alone makes me want to watch this. It's like, oh my, like, can I get a book series on this, please? Because, and a comic series and a TV show and all sorts of other stuff. Um, it says this new Netflix space saga, directed and co-written by Snyder, extends far beyond the verdant orb of the title. The moon is actually one of the more modest worlds. It circles an immense gas giant at the distant edge of the galaxy and is populated mainly by farmers. So nowhere special, but also in a place that's about to shift the balance of power in a fictional universe. It says here in the article. Um, it's pretty amazing. He had a budget of at least 166 million and filmed a lot of it in, let's see here, in Santa Clarita Canyon, just outside of LA. A full-size abandoned starfighter decays not far from what it appears to be an idyllic Scandinavian-style village, complete with a cluster of homes, shops, and barns, and a stone bridge arching over a crystalline river. Team Snyder built the river. This also says vast fields of actual wheat sprouting from the desert hardpan, um, and an area never meant for such lush growth, but of course built specifically for the filmmaking process. But it says here he insisted on real crops for his farmers to harvest and defend. And just over a rocky hillside sits another Rebel Moon set for a larger community known as Providence that looks like an old West metropolis. Hmm. Locations on the moon of the title, but there are other worlds beyond this. It says Snyder has been working on this story for more than 3 decades. It says the story focuses on outcasts, malcontents, and refugees from a series of disparate planets who join forces to rise together against a punishing authoritarian government. Why does that sound familiar? That's literally Star Wars, in a nutshell. If you really look at the story of what Star Wars is, it's the rebellion rising against the fascist regime of the Empire. Cool stuff, man. Um, it says here, he says, I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know why I always make an ensemble movie. I can't wait to not do that. But in the meantime, of course, I love it. Um, Says this movie was me going, it's a space opera, but let's not lens it that way. Let's lens it in a more intimate way so that the sci-fi elements feel more grounded. We're not always talking about how big the spaceships are, how weird a planet looks. That's just part of the organic world we're living here. By the way, this ensemble shot, really cool. Really, 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 really cool. It's probably one of the coolest things I've seen so far. It says originally the script was one movie, but his wife says it was in Zack form. Deborah Snyder said 172 pages. Typically, a page of script equals a minute on screen, so Rebel Moon was shaping up to be in a 3-hour film, which worried Netflix chairman Scott Stuber. And he's like, on the servers, under 2-hour movies really do better for some reason, although you'll binge watch a series of 8 episodes. So Zach said, if you ask me to make this less than 2 hours, I'm going to lose all the characters. You won't care about these people. But what if I give you 2 movies? Oh, so a gamble from Netflix. But hey, it's gonna be worth it. I already know it's gonna be worth it. Um, Says the Moon of Velt is a David faced in the Goliath of the Mother World, which of course is the fascist government. Says a Velt is nowhere special until the rulers of the Mother World decide to seize the planet as a breadbasket. Mm. Your planet's gonna be our local food source while we're tramping around the galaxy. Oh, yeah. Says the villagers are stunned by the brutality, but they don't realize what level the mother world's really ready to go to. That sounds like have you guys watched the Foundation series? I mean, that one has fans torn because some people are like it's not true to Asimov's books, but it's still a really really good watch. I've really enjoyed it. Um, and this sounds like it has some core elements of that because that's one of the things that was at the core element of that series is that the emperor and the empire is not a nice place per se, and getting there was a lot of conquest involved, which is true of any empire. I mean, that's definitely true. But how benevolent are the dictators? That's the key here. Sofia Boutella, that's her name. I've seen her in a lot of things. She was the mummy in that Tom Cruise film. Um, God, I know I've seen her in multiple other things too. There was an assassin film. She was an assassin in a film that I can't remember off the top of my head. She's done some really cool stuff over the years. So I'm really happy to see her doing more stuff here. Um, dun, 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 says she is the person who rallies the people to resist. She's been hiding in the moon after fleeing from her own role within the leadership of the oppressive government, and that's her abandoned starship out there. Oh, so she's gonna be like the princess or something. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters are here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy's relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now. Or something. That's going to be interesting. She used to be in the Imperium. Okay. By the way, that's a great shot right there. Zach and his wife with those fields of wheat that they purposely planted. I mean, that's kind of like, not to the same level, but it's kind of like Peter Jackson building Bag End from scratch, for Lord of the Rings. Um, you're always going to get a better level of photography and, videography out of a real set than CG. It's just something there. Um, let's see here. Oh, Atomic Blonde. It even mentions it here. That's the one I was thinking of with Shirley's Throne, which was also a phenomenal film. It says the humble moon of Velt is a greater danger than we realize because the Mother World's grip on its empire is weakening behind the scenes. And while they've conquered the universe, um, they've had to make individual deals with different leaders, and that people are feeling bad. But different leaders are feeling like ugh, and begin to push back. So this is spur on of the eventual big revolt. Oh, so she can't fight the Imperial alone, so she sets up with a mercenary starship pilot named Kai, played by Charlie Hunnam. Ah, because she needs his freighter, and it said it's more of a diesel punk world than a steampunk world, says Snyder. Higher energy source than gasoline, but technology hasn't really changed in quite a while, and the universe is kind of stagnant because of the dictatorship. By the way, this shot of Hunnam, like Chris and I think one of the coolest things I've seen him do since Sons of Anarchy, which we've watched twice. Well, I've watched twice. Chris has watched it. I've watched it twice. Um, is God, he's done so much stuff, but The Gentleman was really really good, which was Guy Ritchie. I've seen that a couple times now with Chris, and then why am I blank? Oh, the King Arthur film. I think Chris and I have watched that together 3 times now, which was another Guy Ritchie film, but his King Arthur film is phenomenal. I will watch anything with this guy in it. Anything. Ever since Jax Teller, like, I will watch anything with him in it. Period. Looking good here, man. Ugh. I don't know. I'm not gonna read through this whole thing because there's a ton of information here. Um, but we've also got oh, this is that guy's name, Michael Huisman. Um, who's the guy I'm thinking of from Game of Thrones and the show about the clones. And we've got. Ta-da, I always butcher this guy's name, Jimon Honsu, who I remember the first thing I saw him in was The Gladiator. Um, really good stuff over the years. So, man, that guy's ripped. That's crazy. That's a lot of work right there. Yeah, here we go, Duna Bay. God, mm, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be really good. She's awesome. I like the stuff she does. Says she wields 2 flaming swords. A swordmaster who's partly mechanical. That sounds really cool. Look at this shot. Oh man, I'm nerding out so bad over these pictures. Look at that set. Look at the. Oh, this is like 300 in space. This has got to be the Imperium, right? Ed Screen. Ed Screen's here. Says he's the Motherworld Enforcer Admirable Noble. He's done some really interesting stuff over the years. He looks positively diabolical here. I love the. I just love the costuming and everything is looking great. Oh my goodness. Scribes are quasi-religious figures who have the power to imprint memories in the minds of humans used as living history books. Man, this is world building 101. Really cool stuff here, man. Really, really, really cool. This is, if you go back to, I've been talking about this recently, with the documentary stuff I've been doing on films and stuff. The filmmaking process has fascinated me for a long time now, and as I'm getting into the second half of my life, I'm really feeling the urge to do something in that space. This is like, kind of like the only thing left on my bucket list, kind of. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm happy to be fascinated by stuff like this and see what Zack Snyder is going to push out because I think he is a brilliant filmmaker. So first look at Rebel Moon. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. See you guys next time.